Imagine for a moment a world plunged into darkness so thick that not even sunlight will exist. A cosmic eclipse involves all regions of the Earth. It is not just a physical darkness, but a darkness that penetrates to the depths of the human soul, a darkness that whispers about the unknown, divine wrath, and the secrets of the beyond. But what does the Bible say about this event that will happen before the second coming of Christ? Have you ever heard of Padre Pio? It is said that Saint Padre Pio made several prophecies throughout his life, some of which were recorded, while others were transmitted orally. However, nothing could prepare us for one of the most disturbing prophecies he uttered during his existence, the prediction of 3 days of darkness. What could this prophecy mean? Why is the vision of 3 days of darkness so unsettling? Join us as we explore this terrifying prophecy attributed to Saint Padre Pio that has left the world perplexed. Before we get into the heart of our video, it is essential to know who Padre Pio was in order to understand more deeply what will be discussed below. Padre Pio, whose given name was Francesco Forgione, was an Italian priest who lived from 1887 to 1968. He belonged to the Order of Capuchin Friars and is revered as a saint by the Catholic Church. Born in Pietrelcina, Italy, on May 25, 1887, he came from a humble farming family. From an early age, he demonstrated a religious vocation and joined the Capuchin order at age 15. In 1910, he was ordained a priest and received his assignment to the city of San Giovanni Rotondo in 1918. Padre Pio's uniqueness manifested itself through the stigmata, a phenomenon that defied explanation and remains enigmatic to this day. The stigmata that appeared on Padre Pio's body were representations of the 5 wounds of Christ inflicted during the crucifixion and appeared on his hands, feet, and side, accompanied by intense pain. Stigmata are a very rare phenomenon, also reported in the lives of other saints and mystics throughout history, and are not supported by science. They are often interpreted as a sign of deep holiness and spirituality. These wounds bled intermittently, but never became infected, persisting even when they bled and exuded the scent of roses. The wounds would heal on their own, only to reappear after a few days or weeks. The Church authenticated these stigmata, which became a source of intense devotion for countless people, attracting pilgrims from all over the world. However, what stood out most was the final warning he shared with everyone regarding the impending 3 days of darkness. How significant are these revelations? Should we prepare ourselves for the most difficult moments that life has in store for us? We'll soon find out, and believe me, it's crucial to keep your full attention. Padre Pio wrote a personal correspondence addressed to the Commission of Messengers, appointed by the Vatican. In this letter, Padre Pio testified to the authenticity and veracity of the revelations transmitted to him by our Lord. He recounted his spiritual journey and the gifts he had received from God, among which was the manifestation of the stigmata. Below, we present the content of his letter. My son, I have longed for this hour when I will reveal to you the great love of my heart. Pray and make amends to me. Admonish others to do the same. For the time is at hand when I will visit my unfaithful people, for they did not heed the time of my grace. Persevere in prayer, so that your adversary does not have dominion over you. Tell my people to be prepared at all times, for my judgment will come upon them suddenly, and when least expect, and no one will escape my hand. I will find them all. I will protect the righteous. Observe the sun, the moon, and the stars of the heavens when they seem to be excessively disturbed and restless. Know that the day is not far away. Keep them unite in prayer, and watch until the angel of destruction has passed through your doors. Pray that these days will be shortened, pray and make amends, be fervent, and practice modifications, for great things are at stake. People are running towards to the abyss of hell with great joy and feasting, as if they were going to a masquerade ball or the devil's own wedding. Help me in the salvation of souls. The measure of sin is full. The day of vengeance, with its terrifying events, is near, closer than you can imagine, and the world is sinking into a false security. Divine judgment will strike them like lightning. These wicked and godless people will be destroyed without mercy, just like the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah. Indeed, I tell you, their wickedness was not as great as that of humanity today. Cover well your windows. My chosen ones will not see my wrath. Have trust in me, and I will be your protection. Hurricanes of fire will pour from the skies and spread throughout the earth. Storms and bad weather conditions, lightning and earthquakes will cover the earth for 2 days. An uninterrupted rain of fire will take place on a very cold night. All this is to prove that God is the master of creation. Those who hope in me and believe in my words have nothing to fear, for I will not abandon them, nor will those who spread my message. No harm will come to those who are in a state of grace and seek my mother's protection, so that you may be prepared for these visitations. I will give the following signs and instructions. These warnings were conveyed to Padre Pio directly by Jesus Christ, and it is important to note that he was not the only one to receive this revelation. The prophecy is reported to have its roots in the Virgin Mary, who supposedly appeared to several saints and mystics over the centuries, such as St. Anne Catherine Emmerich, Blessed Anna Maria Taigi, St. John Bosco, and St. Faustina Kowalska. Some examples of passages relating to days of darkness at the end of time include Joel 2:31 in the Old Testament, Matthew 24:29 in the New Testament, and Revelation 6:12-14 in the New Testament. The description of days of darkness in biblical passages in other religious traditions can have various interpretations, depending on each person's beliefs and perspectives. Generally, these days of darkness are understood as an apocalyptic event marked by total or cosmic darkness, symbolizing a phase of judgment. In Joel 2:31 in the Old Testament, it says, "The sun will turn into darkness and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come." The prophet Joel describes a series of cosmic events that would precede the great and terrible day of the Lord. He mentions that the sun will turn to darkness and the moon to blood before that day arrives. This language is often interpreted in an apocalyptic manner, suggesting a dramatic scenario of cosmic changes that mark a period of judgment or significant events in a religious context. This passage can be seen as a warning of events preceding divine judgment or a time of spiritual change. However, interpretations of this passage may vary depending on religious traditions and perspectives. Some may interpret these descriptions as metaphors, while others may interpret them more literally in relation to future events. But this passage does not specify the 3 days of darkness as an event in itself, but rather mentions the turning of the sun into darkness and the moon into blood.
A cada dia. E você está preparado para o fim? Assista a série Sinais do Fim, uma seleção das cenas mais impactantes da novela Apocalipse, exibida pela Record TV. Saiba mais sobre esse fenômeno descrito há mais de 2000 anos. Afinal, você não vai querer ser pego de surpresa, não é mesmo? Acesse univervideo.com ou baixe o aplicativo. Univervideo, conectando você a Deus no jejum de Daniel.
The language used describes dramatic changes in celestial and cosmic elements. These cosmic signs, such as the darkening of the sun, the loss of light from the moon, and the falling of the stars, are often interpreted as symbols of significant changes and events accompanying Christ's return and final judgment. The reference to the powers of the heavens being shaken also suggests the idea that heavenly and spiritual forces will be affected at this time. Dear friends, the Great Tribulation cannot be explained any better than this. What we must do now, as Padre Pio said, is to have confidence in our Lord Jesus Christ and get back on the right path before it is too late. I ask you to subscribe to our channel, Leave your like and share this message as much as possible so that we can reach as many people as possible. Together, we can spread this important message. Thank you for your support